Guys, the market's crashing. We need to do an urgent video on what's going on right now. So it's going to be a very in-depth video. We're going to talk about bull market, bear market. Are we going to crash? Are we going to pump? Is this the end of the market? We're going to look at all the on-chain data and just talk about my trades, what I'm doing now, and yeah, let's get into it. So as you've been following my Twitter, if you haven't, follow the Twitter. I've posted that I was taking profits on some of my longs. I closed all of my longs last week. I took some profits on Render, so you can see here $23,000 we made on Render, so absolutely beautiful trade. We took the long position down here. I posted in my Discord saying I was taking a long. I was going to hold this open into the bull run. The market changes, right? We saw the on-chain data was changing last week. Many whales started to take profits and sell. They usually sell first. The smart money usually sell first. If you watch my last YouTube video, I told you that the smart money are starting to spike up a little bit here. They're starting to go into stable coins. They usually make the move before the market makes the move. So I pay very close attention to that data. And I decided to take profits. And it was a good job I did, right? Because Render has just absolutely come down since then. So, you know, $23,000 on that trade. I'm very happy with that. I also took some short positions last week. So you can see my short positions here. So you can see FLR is currently in $1,000 profit. Ondo shorts currently in $2,000 profit. Doge $2,700 profit. CRV $2,000. ENS $2,400. My BTC short is in 4,500. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, almost like $15,000 in profit, plus the Render short. It's been absolutely insane this last few weeks or so. And if BTC loses support here, these could 5x, right? This might even be 50, 100K if we come down to the target that I think we potentially could come down to, okay? So let's get into it. I'm also short on BingX, guys, so big up if you're copying me over there. So I'm short on Ondo, 1,500 profit, CRV 1.8K, ENS 2K, and TRX 1.5K. So I'm in some more shorts there as well. Okay, starting to lose this very key support here, guys. We've talked about this being a very key level. Now, Binance, huge outflows coming out of Binance today. You can see here, massive sell pressure. Yes, we've got some sell pressure coming out on Coinbase as well. So we've got a little bit of confluence. Don't know what's going on with Bitfinex, but you know, we seem to see inflows there for some reason. And then we've got outflows coming out on OKX. So a lot of sell pressure happening right now. We saw the smart money selling. Now we're seeing retail sell as well. So it's going to be very interesting to track smart money and actually see when they start to buy back in, because they usually tend to sell before the dumps and they usually tend to buy before the pump. So I'm going to be monitoring their stablecoin balances to see when they're flowing back into crypto. So let's get into it. Lots to talk about. Here's my post on the 8th of January, so we're on the 13th now. So you know, this was 5 days ago. So I moved my Ethereum to USDC, took some profits on some more altcoins. So a lot of our altcoins, you know, as you know, we got into the bear market. A lot of our altcoins are in quite a lot of profits, especially some of the stuff we bought recently as well. So I took some more profits off the table. Again, very happy I did. A lot of stuff has crashed since, okay? You know, I've already took a lot of profits in March, right? So I sold a lot of my altcoins back in March. We pretty much had the first part of the bull run. We bought in the bear market and things were up 25x, right? So I think Render was up 25, 30x. Took some profits off the table, didn't sell everything, and then obviously took a long down here and took some profits as well. And yeah, so we've already de-risked, but I did de-risk a little bit more last week. So I took a little bit more off the table. And guys, if we go up or down, I'll continue to do the same thing. If we break key supports to the downside, I'll continue to take profits. If we push up to the upside, I'll continue to take profits, okay? I'm not going to sit here and hope that the market bounces or comes back, right? I'm going to de-risk as we go down and de-risk as we go up. That way I can't lose, and I'm always going to end up winning whatever the market decides to do. Okay, so I do notice that a lot of people in the space are either bullish or bearish. I really don't get it, right? they're bearish down here, bullish up here, but they're either bullish or bearish, and they don't sort of track the data and move with the data. A lot of people have said, oh, I thought you were bullish, I thought we was going to see a bull run. Guys, if everybody on chain starts selling, I'm not just going to sit around and wait for the market to crash, right? I'm going to take actions. I'm going to respond to the data. Yes, I still think we're going to have a bull run this cycle. Yes, I think we're potentially going to push into all-time highs. But also we've got a lot of moving parts, a lot of variables, okay? So we have to analyze the data if all the smart money starts selling, I'm going to sell as well, right? These guys are holding hundreds of billions inside altcoins. If you think you've seen a crash, you are going to see a crash when they sell. So one of the main reasons we are having a big pullback at the moment is because, as you know, I posted this when the election was happening. So I think it was a while ago now, this original trade. I think it was, I can't remember when Trump won, but it was like November or something. So I took a long position and I made around over 200,000. I longed BTC, obviously on the Trump victory. I put a step-by-step on what to do. You know, if Trump wins, very easy trade, long alts and Bitcoin. If Kamala wins, very easy trade, short Bitcoin and alts. And obviously Trump won. So what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of people made a considerable amount of money in a very short amount of time. The exchanges had to pay everybody out, everyone who took profits, right? There's still a lot of people in long positions, but the exchanges really struggle with these situations because everybody goes long, everybody wins, right? The market's going to pump, hundreds of billions come in, the price goes up, everybody's long, everybody's up 10, 20, 30x. If you used high leverage, even you could be up 100x, right? It's a situation that doesn't happen very often where a lot of the exchanges lose out and have to pay out everybody. Okay, so what happens is everybody takes a long position here, everybody wins, and if you're like me, of course, I took some profits off the table because I was in the back of my mind always expecting the exchanges to come back for us. So I took some profits off the table around 94, 96. And we are now starting to see it testing that 90k level. Okay, so usually what happens after a big pump is the exchanges will come back for those longs, and nobody knows how low this dip will go. Okay, it might, a lot of people are talking about 80k, 85, and I see why, because we've got this previous support line here. Okay, this has been a support line for quite a while. We held up a support here, held up a support here, but we lost this support here. So I'm not specifically too focused on this level. I'm looking at the technical target of the head and shoulders pattern, okay? So the head and shoulders pattern actually gives us the technical target. So you can see up here, we've got the left shoulder, we've got the head, the right shoulder. Technical target of this is from top to bottom, which brings us down to around 75, 76k, okay? So this makes sense to me. The only thing that doesn't make sense about this is it doesn't come down to our previous support level. Okay, so it doesn't come down to our previous high, which you could say is around here. It's just shy. So that's another level I'm looking at, which would be 70 to 72k. I think we're probably going to bounce off the SMC weekly, just as we did last time. The SMC bot gave us a buy signal at 27k. We pushed all the way up to 73k. If you took that trade on leverage, you're probably retired right now, right? Had a pullback. Where did it come back to? Exactly back to our SMC. Weekly moving average to the T, right? Perfectly came back and retested. Ironically, where is our SMC weekly sitting right now? It's sitting at the same technical target of the head and shoulders pattern breakout. Now, it depends how fast we come down to this level, okay? Because if we're going to come down to 76k, it needs to come down very fast, right? And if this is going to trickle up like this, so we could come down like this, we could fake out the shorts, try and liquidate some shorts, come down like this, and we might hit it at 86k, okay? So instead of making actual targets of 72k, 76k, this is the technical target right now, but as soon as we touch this weekly SMC, I'm going to take profits from my short trades, and I'm going to look for longs, okay? Just as we did back here, we came back and tested it, but bear in mind, we tested it a few times before we actually pushed to the upside. So is it going to come down? Is it going to whack, bounce, whack, bounce, whack, bounce, and then push back to the upside? One thing I am scared of is if we close below this weekly SMC, if we come down and close below this, guys, it's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen, okay? I don't know what's going to happen. Wait until the end of the video because we'll talk about more why I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want to scare you guys, right? But it would be a big red flag if we close below that level. Okay, so Solana, Ethereum, obviously, I told you guys I moved a lot of money into USDT from Ethereum and Solana. Those are basically my currencies to buy meme coins, AI agents, right? And I don't really want to be sitting in them in a pullback. If BTC comes down to 76k, altcoins are going to come down a lot, and I don't really want to be sitting in them. And look, if it bounces back up, I'm not really missing out on too much, right? If it comes down 20%, 30%, I'm going to lose a lot sitting in Ethereum. And you know, it's lucky I did because it was it was a back around here. We sold 3.3k, and it's already now pushing 3k support, so it's come down quite a bit. Ethereum, let's check the weekly on Ethereum. Man, we're at the weekly support again on that, and we don't want to close below that, guys, because remember what happened last time we closed below. We had a massive drastic sell-off. So ETH is already at the support and BTC is nowhere near it. That's fascinating. ETH is underperforming so bad. It's one of the worst plays this cycle. I'm so glad we bought Solana. The SMC bot did give us a buy signal at 1.7k. It wasn't the worst gains, but that's one of the worst plays. And look at this triple top here on the highs, man. That is like dangerous territory. This triple top. You can't break through. You can't break through. You can't break through. You don't want to come down here and start making new lows. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's game over for Ethereum. Solana, weekly, buy signal, 23. We got in down here. We've played this to the T, guys. Render, Solana, a lot of these altcoins, we've absolutely nailed this cycle. We bought at $23. We took profits at 190, so somewhere around here. And even today, it's below the price that we took some profits off the table, okay? So we've already won. We can't lose. We made colossal amounts of money. And it's coming back to the weekly again, right? We're getting so close to this weekly, guys, on a lot of these altcoins. See how we rallied. Where did we come back to? We came back to the weekly. We test. We held above. We pushed to the upside. The SMC weekly is curving around like this. We're coming back to it. This is where I would expect to bounce. Test, push to the upside. Now, what's happening in the next few weeks? We have the Trump inauguration. So not only are we coming back to a level that we know we historically pump off, we have the Trump inauguration approaching, and we have the Solana ETF 2 days after that inauguration. 2 days after we have the Solana ETF. Is this a massive shakeout from those who know that the ETF is about to get approved? Is this a massive shakeout from everybody trying to shake retail out? Are institutions and funds trying to get very cheap prices? This is what they do a lot of the time. They'll sell and sell and sell to create a market scare, to create a market shakeout, and then they'll buy, right? So how crazy would it be if everyone is getting bearish right now on socials, and then in a week's time we have Trump dropping all sorts of bullish crypto news and crypto regulations, and then we have a Solana approval ETF? This would absolutely skyrocket to the upside, okay? So I am going to be taking long positions depending on the data. I'm going to be tracking the smart money, tracking the wallets, tracking the flows, tracking the inflows, tracking the news, watching Trump's inauguration, okay? We're coming down to the SMC weekly. We're also oversold on the weekly. We're coming down to oversold regions. We do see some accumulation here. Despite the downside, we do see a lot of accumulation here. To me, it looks like a shakeout. Okay, it looks like a shakeout. Does that mean we're not going to see more downside? Absolutely not. Stock market, we're waiting for it to open. Today's going to be a very important day because the stock market, wow, we also got some sell signals here on the stock market. Like we broke through the SMC moving average and we started to get some sells. Now, I've drawn this channel before for you guys because I feel like we're imitating very closely what happened last cycle. Look at this channel we came into on the S&P. Look at the channel we're in right now on the S&P. The S&P actually had this mini trend line in between it. This cycle, we have a mini trend line in between it. Now, the previous time we broke through this below this bottom trend line, look where we come down to, exactly down to the SMC weekly. Once again, this thing is so reliable time and time again. It's not going to be right all the time, guys, but it's right a lot of the time. Buy signal on the S&P down here. No sell signal all the way up. Absolutely beautiful. I love this bot. If we come down, this is going to be an amazing area of support here. See here? We're going to tap this. What happened the last time we tapped this? Big shakeout in August. This is exactly where I bought, guys. This is where I said to you, I'm flipping bullish. I took profits in March. We had a big sell-off. And then I said to you in August, the market is starting to shift. We're at key supports. I'm buying Ondo. I bought Ondo. I bought Sui. Sui was like 85 cents, completely rallied. AOS. We got loads of projects that just rallied. Are we going to see this same thing happen again? Are we going to see the market open today, see a crash down to this level, mass panic across markets? We're in a bear market. And then are we going to see a bounce into Trump's inauguration, which potentially could be a buy the news event, right? If we didn't see a sell-off before the inauguration, I would be along the lines of it might be a sell the news event. If we go into the event with a crash and sell-off, it then potentially becomes a buy the news event because everything's discounted, everything's reduced. Institutions can come in. There's a lot of money on the side. There's a lot of stable coins on the side, okay? So I really do hope the markets open up red today because obviously my shorts are going to print 50 grand, maybe 75 grand in total. If we come down to this level, I think BTC potentially comes down to 76k, maybe 80k. I'm going to take profits on my shorts at this level. Okay, even if I think we're going into a bear market, I'm going to take profits because I've been here. I've seen how quickly the market shifts back. We have Trump's inauguration approaching. Okay, so that's my plan on that. Let's look at the NASDAQ. Very similar to last cycle. What are we seeing? The same patterns happening over again. Rally to the upside, trend line, broke trend line, bear market. Have we broke trend line? No, we haven't broke trend line. So do we trade on euphoria? Do we trade on emotions? When we see red candles, do we get scared? No, absolutely not. Prices come down, I slowly DCA out. Prices go up, I slowly DCA out. I don't flip into full bear mode and start shorting the market completely and selling my entire portfolio until we break this trend line. Okay, when we break this trend line, we're going to be breaking it on the S&P. We're going to be breaking it on Bitcoin. We're going to be breaking it on SUI. We're going to be breaking it on pretty much the market is following this same weekly trend line. When we close below this, I'm going to short the market. I'm going to sell my portfolio. Okay, so the trend is your friend. We had a buy signal down here on the NASDAQ. What an amazing bot, because you know it not only tells you when the market's finished the bear market, but it helps you snap out of emotions and trade in all the red candles. Here, but a lot of people thought it topped. Here, a lot of people thought it topped, right? People were selling their entire portfolios. Market kept going up. Market kept going up. So trend is your friend. We come down to support. I'm expecting a bounce. I think we're eventually going to break this support. When we do, I think we're going to enter a massive bear market, just like we did here, right? We broke support. We went into a huge bear market. This doesn't look small. This is the NASDAQ. When this happens in the NASDAQ, Bitcoin gets absolutely decimated. Okay, so RSI on the NASDAQ has a little bit more room to come down. Absolutely lovely. This is what we want to see. We want to see it come back to support. SMC weekly is catching up here. I think we're going to come a little bit below this trend line and come back to this weekly. Look at the volume profile as well. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the red line here. It's lining up with our SMC weekly bar. It's lining up with the previous highs here as support. Massive area of support around here on the NASDAQ, okay? So regardless of what people say about Bitcoin, what happens to Bitcoin, it tends to follow the NASDAQ. It tends to follow tech stocks specifically. Tech stocks come down, Bitcoin comes down, and vice versa. Who knows what's going to happen to Bitcoin after the US accumulate as a strategic reserve? If they do, I think it's going to detach, okay? Because if they start to accumulate BTC as a strategic reserve, and even if they put in 2%, it's going to send Bitcoin's price probably to $1 million, right? And I think we'll see so much money flood in. People will be less inclined to sell because they know America are going to DCA in every month, every quarter, whatever they decide to do, which is going to just push the price up over time. Other countries are going to try and accumulate and front run. DXY, the dollar. What happens when the DXY goes up? Stocks and crypto come down. What happens when the DXY goes down? Stocks and crypto go up. The SMC bot on the DXY is absolutely beautiful. Again, buy signal, push to the upside. Sell signal, we came to the downside. Buy signal, we came to the upside. Sell signal, we push to the downside. Buy signal, we push to the upside. Okay, absolutely phenomenal. And flipping bullish. Notice how the red background is flipping red here, guys. You're in bearish times. The bot tells you the background's going green, gives you a buy signal down here. Before the background goes green, it gave you a buy signal, but the background is kind of added confluence that you are in an uptrend right now and the market is moving up. The good news we do have on the DXY is that the RSI is pushing very, very oversold. It was oversold here, came down. It was oversold here, came down. We've pushed quite a lot to the upside, but we have broken above this previous support. Okay, so we are in an official breakout to the upside, and buy pressure is starting to slow down over here. So it does look like we are going to have some sort of a reversal, but right now the trend is your friend. You don't go against the trend. The SMC weekly on the DXY is pushing up. Okay, so what I want to see is us come and break this level and get a sell. With this line, this is going to take some time because we're actually looking at the weekly. So it's actually going to be a while before it even crosses that line, but it technically could come down like this, and then we get a sell signal, and then this, in my opinion, could be the final leg into the bull run if we get a reversal on the DXY. Great post from Rob here, Digital Asset News. Go and follow his channel, great channel. Just reminding everybody what happens in a bull run. Pullbacks are very normal. 38%, 38%, 33%, 38%, 36%, 29%. Everybody in this bull run has had the rally on the palm of their hands, right? It's been the easiest cycle ever. BlackRock literally told you they were going to push Bitcoin to $1 million pretty much. And they've done that at 30K, 40K BTC. It's been handed us to us on a plate. We haven't seen 40% pullbacks because institutions were just going to buy, right? If BlackRock is telling all their clients to buy Bitcoin, to buy crypto, what are they going to do, guys, right? They're telling people to sell gold and buy Bitcoin. It's very difficult to see a 30-40% correction when you have BlackRock as your marketer, when you have the president of the United States saying we're looking at accumulating a strategic reserve. We would be very lucky to see a 40% correction here, okay? There's going to be a lot of buy pressure on the way down because there's a lot of funds and institutions who are eager to get on this train, especially if that reserve gets approved. So nobody knows how low this is going to go, but this cycle has been absolutely insane. We've gone from 16K all the way up to 108K in a very short amount of time. So yes, maybe now we are at the state where we could have a 20, 30, 40% correction, okay? Because we've come up so much that the whales are in huge amounts of money. People have made hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. Why not take a little bit off the table and see how things play out? Just as we're doing, right? A lot of the smart money, they don't try and time the top. They don't try and time the bottom. They just DCA in and they DCA out. That's all they do. Okay, so we've looked at the S&P. What else? We've looked at the DXY. Obviously, Rob's post there of pullbacks. This is quite an interesting post. So if we look at the last few Januaries, now you know I don't like comparing charts of this cycle to previous cycles, but let's look at it anyway. I like to look at all the data and put it together as confluence. I think this is an institutional cycle, so we can't compare it to previous cycles, but on January the 5th, 2017, what happened? We had a big shakeout. Classic shakeout happens in this month. Shaking out retail, shaking out everybody, getting everybody to think you're in a bear market. They sell all the crypto and then all the smart money come and buy it off them, right, at a cheaper price. Those who were waiting on the sidelines, who didn't ape in, are like, guys, Trump's about to go into office. I think we're going to see a strategic reserve. We've messed up on the biggest play this year. Let's not ruin it, right? Let's get this shakeout. And then shakeouts are incentivized, right? So this is what happened after the last shakeout. I had a shakeout and then price absolutely rallied shortly after. January 8th, 2021, shakeout into bull run. There's always a shakeout before the bull run. I say always, but don't forget this cycle, guys. We reached an all-time high for the first time before the halving. Not many people want to talk about that, right? They don't want to talk about that. This cycle is different. It's an institutional cycle. We never hit an all-time high before the halving in history. So when we compare these charts, let's not be bullish. Let's not be bearish. Let's actually accept that things are a little bit different right now. And maybe these charts don't play out like they did before because Bitcoin has done things that it's never done before, okay? So I react to the data. I'm not looking at this happened. I'm playing these cards, right? I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the on-chain data. I'm changing with the data. This chart, rainbow chart, you might have seen it, very popular chart. It's been around for a long time. A lot of people lost a lot of money last cycle. I was looking at this chart. I was looking at I was listening to KOLs. I was listening to experts. A lot of really good KOLs, by the way. You know, people who have been trading in the markets a long time, who are previously right the cycle before. So I came in this cycle, okay? So I got in the bear market, made tons of money in the bull run. But I was listening to people who were in previous cycles, and I valued their experience, right? I know that there's so much to learn in this space. I listened to what they were saying, and this chart made sense to me, and it made sense to everybody, right? Plan B was talking about this chart religiously as well. So we pushed all the way up into the red, bear market, okay? And I love data and I love charts. And I was like, this game looks so easy, right? Because forget all this that happened, because this hadn't happened. I was like, this game looks so easy. You just wait till it goes into the orange and red and you sell. You buy in the blue and purple, you wait and then to the red and you sell. So I was buying in the blue and purple And I was like, I'm going to sell in the orange and red, right? It's simple. Same thing that's happened. And everybody kept saying the same thing that happened last cycle is going to happen this cycle, the same thing that happened before. What happened? We had one of the most strangest bull runs. It came down, it went up to the orange, came down 50%, then went back up into the green. Like, it was one, and it wrecked a lot of people. A lot of people didn't take profits up here, right? A lot of people were waiting for higher prices here, and we didn't see it. A lot of people were looking at this chart. So let's take these charts with a pinch of salt. Now, one thing I have noticed about this chart, if you look, we made a high here, we went over the red. Here we tapped the red. Here we're 2 bands down. Okay, so we topped out 2 bands down. So clearly we're dropping 2 bands on each bull run. Okay, so 2 bands, right? 2 bands down, 2 bands down, 2 bands down. So instead of focusing on the orange and red, what happens this cycle? 2 bands down. So if we drop 1, 2 bands down, 1, 2, that takes us to this green line here, which would bring us to 150,000 BTC if we come down 2 bands, and it fell just shy of 2 bands. So the range would be somewhere between 140 and 150k BTC if this chart plays out. Don't forget, this is a different cycle. It's an institutional cycle. We have BlackRock and the president marketing crypto. Just take it with a pinch of salt. But again, I like to look at data. When we push up to this line, a lot of people like me might be thinking, there is a pattern here. 2 bands down, 2 bands down, 2 bands down, 2 bands down. I'm going to sell. I'm going to take some profits. And it might become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Okay, so next up, another post here. Again, just talking about the shakeouts, what happened before the bull run. Big shakeout, shake retail out, scare them all out into thinking it's a bear market, get them to sell all their crypto. Some of the guys in my Discord have sold most of their crypto. It's very normal for people to get scared on red candles and shakeouts, and then usually it's followed by a massive rally to the upside. The only difference I would say this cycle is, these last 2 cycles or so, you have the shakeout, then you have the rally, but it was predominantly very smart institutions that were in, but not many, and retail, okay, and exchanges. This cycle, we have the smartest of the smart in the space, right? We have the pension funds, we have the institutions, we have hedge funds, we have some of the best investors there has ever been in the space now. So why wouldn't this play out even more so than what happened last cycle? Those who missed it, right? So in my opinion, this is potentially going to play out again. If we break key supports, it might be a different story. More FUD we have. You've probably already seen this. The DOJ was potentially going to liquidate $6.5 billion of BTC. They've been approved by the courts to sell it. They haven't sold it yet. Are they getting ready to sell it? Are we seeing Binance front run the sell from America at the moment? We haven't seen it, but we're going to see it in real time. So don't forget, when that gets transferred to Coinbase or it gets transferred to whatever exchange they're planning to sell it on, we're likely going to see a big sell-off as they sell it off, because they're going to sell it off all at once. And also, is this a play for people to get in? Is this a bigger play for institutions and funds to get cheaper prices all of a sudden, right? Because we've got all of this fear and BTC being moved to the exchanges. Are we seeing a play here as a massive shakeout, just as we did in August, right? When Germany was selling, there were so many different things that were happening. America was selling in sync with Germany. The SEC were coming out after everybody, and then it almost was bottomed, right? So it's almost like a play to create cheaper prices for other people. Okay, so we've talked about the NASDAQ again, potentially having a little bit of a pullback. Now, there is a lot of bullish news as well, right? It's not all bearish, guys. Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary, Scott, Bessent, discloses owning 500,000 in BTC. So we know that Trump is actively selecting very good individuals to represent, but he's also picking people who are bullish on crypto and bullish on Bitcoin. What happens when you have an entire government that's has these individuals who are exposed to Bitcoin and believe in it and understand it? You don't have $500,000 in Bitcoin if you don't understand it or you don't believe in it. What happens when it comes to voting legislation for crypto and Bitcoin rules, right? A lot of these people who hold and own Bitcoin are maxis, right? They are very passionate about it. They're very passionate about owning your own money and not having a government tell you what you can and can't do with your money. So very, very bullish. And even more so for getting a BTC reserve across the line. Because don't forget, these people, they're all going to make 10x on this play if this reserve gets approved. So this is what's been disclosed, them having $500,000. Okay, so 10x that, 5 million. Who knows how much some of them are holding, right? 10x 10 million is 100 million. We might see a lot of legislation be rolled out. Who knows how much Trump's holding as well? Trump administration to form a crypto advisory council of 24 leaders to draft legislation, build a Bitcoin reserve, and promote regulatory clarity. Okay, so we already know that, guys. It's mad bullish times. And then we have the supply balance on exchanges is dropping, prices going up. What happened, the difference between BTC and gold is when supply is going down, there's only 21 million tokens, and even more so, less than this, because a lot of it was confiscated in the early days, and a lot of it was lost, right? A lot of people lost their ledgers, they lost their seed phrases, fires, houses burnt down, people lost all of their crypto. There's a rumor that BTC can never fall below 10K, even if everyone sold, because of the amount of money that was lost, in drug dealers that were using it back in the day, okay? So 21 million might even be 18 million, okay? There's speculation that it's somewhere around 18 million tokens in existence. We know that every millionaire in the world couldn't buy one Bitcoin if they wanted to, because there's just not enough. What happens with scarce assets where there's only so much? Everybody wants a piece of the pie before it becomes even more scarce, right? So we're at the very start of this. Even though Bitcoin's been around for 12 years, institutions got in today, this year, year one. We're in year one of Bitcoin, technically, if you're looking at it from a global adoption space. Not only are we in year one, most of the banks aren't even in yet. The banks are fighting to get involved. If we see the banks get in, probably next cycle, you're going to walk into Barclays, you're going to walk into NatWest, you're going to walk into a lot of banks, and there's going to be leaflets that say, hey, why not put 1%, 2% into Bitcoin? It's the new gold. We still haven't got the banks in. We still don't have countries using it as a strategic reserve. So we've got countries and banks still to come in, still tons and tons of assets. The real estate market is worth so much. We're still so far under gold. A lot of people are selling gold to go into BTC. We're still very early days. It could potentially 10x from here. That's why next bear market, I plan to carry on buying a lot of Bitcoin. Just as I did this cycle, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to trade it as well. I'm going to long it and short it on the events like we did. I made $200,000 in November longing it. I wouldn't be buying at 70K because, buying it on spot, I'm not trying to make a 30%, 40% move, but I am going to leverage trade it at specific key events. And just like this trade where I made, as my BingX page and my Mexi page, just like this event, I made $200,000 and the price was 70K, right? I would never have made this by buying it spot. But I used leverage and it was a key event. When the strategic reserve gets approved, if it gets approved, I'm going to be taking a very similar trade to this, okay? So if you want to get involved with us, there's a Discord link to join the free Discord. Jump in there, look for the information at the top, and you can see how to get involved with us and see all my alerts. Guys, this video is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You can lose all of your money in crypto. It's extremely risky. So you should always do your own research before investing and seek professional advice. And I think that's pretty much it. Drop a like and subscribe on the video so you don't miss out on any more of these videos. And I'll keep you posted with my trades, okay? Where are we at on BTC now? Show me the money. Show me the money. A little bit of a bounce, The stock market opens soon, so I need to be on top of the stock market and see how it opens up today. But still, we're testing these levels, right? We're testing these levels. I talked about this on the video before. It's extremely rare when you test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 9th time we're testing this level, guys. It's extremely rare that you don't break it. I mean, normally they break after the 3rd or 4th time, but 9 times is just absolutely wild. It's good because it shows that we are still seeing accumulation, but price does tend to break. And when it comes down, it's going to probably come down very fast because once it gets below 90K, people will be looking for 80k, people will be looking for 70k afterwards. So I don't know how fast it's going to happen, but we do have the inauguration on the 21st. So inauguration is here. It's probably going to happen before the inauguration. So are we going to get a sell-off in and then a buy the news on the inauguration? That's kind of the play I'm looking at the moment. That's it for now, guys. Until then, I will catch you in the next one.